On this day in history, August 28, 1968, protests at the 1968 Democratic National Convention, fueled in part by opposition to the Vietnam War, culminated in the so-called Battle of Michigan Avenue, a violent confrontation between demonstrators and police. In the fall of 1967, members of the National Mobilization Committee to End the War in Vietnam, or MOBE, proposed a massive anti-war demonstration to coincide with the 1968 Democratic National Convention. MOBE was an organization of groups opposed to the Vietnam War. The Youth International Party was another one of the major groups in the organization of the protests. Its members, known as Yippies, politicized hippie ideology and used street theater and other tactics to critique the culture of the United States and induce change. Yippies attempted to formally nominate the Yippie candidate for president, Pegasus, a pig. Several hundred spectators and reporters had gathered on the Civic Center Plaza, but police officers were waiting. After the pig was released, several Yippies were arrested for disorderly conduct. Chicago security forces prepared for the protests during the convention. Besides the standard gun and billy club, Chicago Police Department officers had mace and riot helmets. For the convention, the CPD borrowed a new portable communications system from the military, thus increasing communication between field officers and command posts. All summer long, police officers had received refresher training on crowd control and riot techniques. The Battle of Michigan Avenue, described by Neil Steinberg of the Chicago Sun-Times as a 17-minute melee in front of the Conrad Hilton, was broadcast on television, along with footage from the floor of the convention. The police violence extended to protesters, bystanders, reporters, and photographers. Police pushed protesters through plate glass windows, then pursued them inside and beat them as they sprawled on the broken glass. Over 200 people were treated for injuries and 600 protesters were arrested. Television cameras recorded the police brutality while demonstrators chanted "The whole world is watching." At the Democratic National Convention, several delegates made statements against Chicago Mayor Daley and the Chicago Police Department. The convention was able to proceed. If you're interested in learning more about this day in history, check out these books that are linked in our bio. If you use these links, you can support our page.